The great show Animal Kingdom has come to an end. But what exactly happened? And did they leave any plot lines open to bring the show back? We'll find out on this edition of Chris Aiken Presents. What's going on, everybody? It is Chris Aiken back once again with another edition of Chris Aiken Presents. And before I get into today's episode, do all the stuff you're supposed to do. Notification buttons, notification bells, subscribe buttons, leave comments, good or bad, whatever. Thumbs up, no thumbs down, because honestly, they get ignored. But yeah, do all the podcasty stuff so that we know that you're there, okay? All right. Now let's get into it. The show, Animal Kingdom, one of my favorites that has been on in the last couple of years on TNT, has come to an end. And before we even go any one step further, I'm going to tell any of you now, this is going to be full of spoilers. That's all I'm doing is spoiling this. So if you haven't watched it yet or you're planning to watch it, you might want to stop watching now because I'm going to tell everything that pretty much happens. So that's that. So let's get into it, okay? If you've been watching this season, you know that they have been building up to the ultimate showdown. And we really didn't know where it was going to go until about 2 episodes ago when Pope, the brother, got arrested and admitted to basically all of his crimes of the past. And that led to conversation between the other 3 brothers, or the 2 brothers and the cousin, to basically break Pope out of jail, and then they were going to take all the money from all their earnings of their past crimes and run away out of the country to like Thailand and places like that. They're going to go their separate ways, but they were going to split the money and go. And that led to all kinds of intrigue. If you watched the episode before the finale, then you saw that Jay had stolen all the money and didn't leave the money for the other brothers, once they got escaped. So in the finale of the show, we start off basically with the jailbreak. And what it was Pope had admitted to some crimes and was getting transferred to another prison. And as he was getting transferred, they had it all set up to break him out of the transport, which they did. They get him out. It's a crazy breakout. But the one thing that happens is that Jay, after being the lookout to get things started, disappears. He took off and he goes his separate ways and does not help in the breakout. And the reason for that is because it has all been this big elaborate setup by Jay to set the brothers up so that he can run without any fear of them ever finding him, is what I'm thinking happened there. So they break out Pope and they go to the meetup place. And of course, everything in the meetup place has been sabotaged. The cars don't work. The weapons aren't there. Everything has been sabotaged because Jay had set them all up. And Jay takes the time to call the police once he knows that they're at the meetup point to get them arrested. But apparently Jay forgot about the fact that these are the Cody brothers and they do not fuck around. And they found a way to escape, even though they were surrounded by cops. They got away. Pope went one way. The brothers, Craig and Darren, went the other way. And they were all supposed to meet back up at some point. And so what ended up happening is that they figure out that Jay screwed them over on everything. And basically it comes to a head when Pope finds his way back to the house and confronts Jay and almost kills Jay. But then his demons of the past get him to let Jay survive. Basically pulled him out of he dumped him in the pool tied up to drown, and then he pulled him out of the pool. So, and that basically was the downfall. Now, during the breakout, Pope had been shot and he basically bled out. But before he bled out, he does the symbolic burning down of the house to kind of symbolize that everything in their whole life has been an absolute disaster that was brought on by Smurf. And, so he kind of traditionally burns down the house. And then he dies right there on the side of the pool. So that's one brother down. And then on the other side, as the other brothers are escaping, they try to rob a convenience store, Darren and Craig, and Craig gets shot by a kid that just happens to be there and pulls a gun and shoots him as they're robbing his dad, I guess. So, and he's shot bad. He's mortally wounded. So they drive over by the beach, and Darren and Craig sit there, and Darren basically says goodbye to Craig, and Craig dies. So there's two of them down. And that's kind of where the show sort of ended at that point. You know, it left Darren to go off and do whatever he's going to do, which they really didn't explain, but more than likely he's going to chase after Adrian in Thailand, who escaped drug charges by running to Thailand. And it leaves Jay, one of the final shots in the series was it leaves Jay kind of out in Thailand somewhere on his own, but with the girl that he wanted to take with him, he ended up killing because she wasn't gonna cooperate. She got spooked at the very end. So it just kind of everything fell apart, and the last thing that you see is Jay sitting there getting a drink in Thailand somewhere, but he's all alone, and he feels like he vindicated his mom, I guess, by setting up the brothers and two of them dying. But at the same time, he realizes he's completely all alone and, has nothing but money. And, they try to play off the whole fact of that existence is not necessarily the best in the world. So that's where it ended. Absolutely no chance of an Animal Kingdom reunion with two of the brothers dead. That's for sure. Overall, I thought the ending was really good, but not necessarily great. It felt a little bit rushed, even though it was an hour and 15 minutes. I would have liked to seen maybe a 2-hour show to really spell it out a little bit more. They did rush like the whole Pope escaping and then immediately ending up back at the house, and there weren't any cops at the house, or the cops had been there, but then they disappeared, and then Pope, it very convenient timing, I guess, which it's TV, whatever. But overall, a killer end to a great season. I mean, seriously, the season was about as good as any of the seasons probably as good, maybe even better than any of the other seasons that they did on this show. I personally am super, super sad to see Animal Kingdom come to an end. It's been one of my favorites for the last 6 years. And I hope something else pops up on TNT that's just as good. But man, they're going to have a long way to go to get to that, because Animal Kingdom was excellent. Cool finale. Like the way it ended. Once it all shows up on, I don't know, Amazon Prime or Hulu or wherever the fuck it shows up, you can bet that I will be watching it over and over again the same way I do The Shield and Sons of Anarchy and Sopranos and all the great shows that I like of this style, because there's a lot of really great ones, and I tend to watch them over and over, since as much as there is a lot of great ones, there's still a shortage of them. So great ending, great show. I recommend it. If you haven't watched it yet, start from the beginning, which I know the first 5 seasons, I think, are on Amazon Prime, and then watch season 6 on the TNT website until it moves over to Amazon Prime or wherever as well. All right. And that is going to do it for this edition of Chris Akin Presents. Once again, make sure you do all the podcasty stuff. Subscribe to the channel, notification bell. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the finale. If you thought that the finale was cool, or if you thought it sucked. And we'll go from there, all right? So for Chris Akin Presents, I have been Chris Akin. And guess what, folks? I will be again tomorrow. See ya.